I used to flip burgers at McDonald's, but today I own over 150 investment properties in my own portfolio. Not bad for a kid from a single parent home in Mt Druitt, hey? See, people love this headline, but they don't know what it actually took to get here. I started with only $20,000, which I saved from a casual job at McDonald's. I didn't have handouts or help from anyone. Today I run a property investment business helping others do the exact same thing because I know what it's like to feel like home ownership is out of reach. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how I built my property portfolio to over 150 properties from absolutely nothing, step by step, and how you can copy the same path without needing a silver spoon or a fancy job title. What most people get wrong is they think people who have over 150 properties must have had help. They must have either won the lotto, had help from their parents, had rich parents, or lucky inside breaks. But for me personally, I grew up in housing commission in absolute poverty in the suburb of Mt Druitt. I had a single mum on a pension, and I started working at McDonald's at the age of 14 years old. I saved up around $200 per week, and it took around 2 years to finally save up $20,000. And finally, at the age of 18, I bought my first property at the Central Coast. It was the only place basically that I could afford. Zero help from family, no handouts, no inheritance. I just reinvested every single dollar, and I scaled my property portfolio to 30 properties before the age of 30. And now I own over 150 properties plus by the age of 33. So this is important. These are 5 steps that I followed and you can too to get amazing results. Point 1, start small and invest as soon as you can. Invest where you can afford. You don't necessarily need to buy where you live. What people get wrong is they wait until they can afford their dream home instead of getting started right away. And they think they must buy a property near their home or workplace, even if it's an investment property. The first property I ever bought was a unit on the Central Coast, and I bought it for only $138,000 at the age of 18 with a $20K deposit. Your first investment property, you're not buying a place to live in. You're simply buying an asset. It's not about being comfortable with where it's at. It's about leverage, cash flow, and long-term capital growth. You don't need to buy a mansion or your dream home up front. You just need to make your first move as quick as possible. Here's some actionable advice. Search for areas that are within your borrowing capacities with good rental returns as well. Try to use the rent to cover the repayments while equity is building within the property. And of course, learn as much as you can so you can actually secure a property below what it's worth in the first place. Here's point 2, save harder than everyone else around you. What most people get wrong is they assume you need a high income to invest in property. I personally worked 2 jobs and I saved deposit after deposit. I ate basically canned tuna for over 10 years straight. I skipped buying luxury brands or fancy cars, and I saved up multiple genuine deposits over a 10-year period because I sacrificed early on. Most people overestimate income and underestimate the discipline that it actually takes, which is a key difference. It's what you do with what you've got that matters the most. Here's some actionable advice. Cut back everything, track everything, find a side hustle, take on a second job. If you can save up 1 deposit a year, you'll move faster than most people ever will. And even as an example of that, if you can save $400 per week over the course of a year, you'll have over $20,000, which even in today's market is enough for a 5% deposit on a $400K property. Point 3, what most people get wrong is they think you need to start from zero every single time to buy the next investment property. You can use equity to fund multiple purchases. Here's an example. After that first property that I bought up went up in value, I didn't sell it. I simply refinanced it and leveraged the equity to buy the next property. And I kept doing that to build my portfolio at the same time as saving genuine deposits as well. Equity is a powerful tool. It means you're not relying on saving deposits every single time. The market growth becomes your capital to buy more. I learned to refinance, release equity, and reinvest over and over. Actionable advice. Get your properties that you have revalued regularly. Use mortgage brokers who understand property portfolio lending and how to unlock trapped equity that may be sitting in your properties. Point 4, obsess over market research. What most people get wrong is that they chase headlines or they follow their gut without looking at the real data. Here's an example. I was obsessed with watching the market. I studied property market cycles, interest rates, how inflation works, and how banks even value properties different from other banks. The best returns go to those who are buying before a market starts to explode. Property investing isn't passive. It's a research game, and you have to continually learn more every single day. Actionable advice. Learn property market cycles and inflationary cycles in itself. Learn different types of bank policies, such as what banks value properties different to others, the types of valuations that they do, and also even how different tiers of lenders can give you lower or higher borrowing capacity based on your personal circumstances. Point 5. This is how you win the long game. Most people get wrong. They buy one property and then they reward themselves with either a car, designer clothes, or something fancy like that. To me, that's backwards. My own story as an example. I didn't buy any flashy stuff until years into building my portfolio. No designer brands, no fancy car, no Mercedes, no BMW. Everything that I earned went back into buying more properties, back into building up deposits. I sacrificed early so I could live much comfortably later on. The first 5 to 10 years should be about building your portfolio, not spending on your lifestyle. Your lifestyle should be fueled by your properties and your assets, not your wage in the future. Actionable advice. Be real about your priorities. If you want freedom later, then skip buying stuff to do the flex now. Focus on stacking assets and the lifestyle will come later on. Don't get me wrong, my property journey wasn't a smooth ride. I made a lot of mistakes. One so massive, it cost me over $6.4 million. So if you want to avoid the biggest mistake of your entire investing journey, watch this next video. It's where I break down that purchase completely.